Welcome back, everyone, to another episode. Today, we are speaking with Bill Dolan. Bill is the Emmy-nominated Creative Director at Spirit Media with over 10,000 productions. That number is staggering, Bill. A virtual producer, marketing strategist, and author slash trainer of 7DRM, which is the 7 disciplines of relationship marketing, and a leadership keynote speaker, which is near and dear to my heart. Bill, welcome to the show.
It's great to finally get together. Excellent. Good to see you.
No, thank you, Bill, for sharing this time with us. And I'm excited about what we'll be speaking about, which is reviving your marketing, leveraging discipline to supercharge your sales. But before we get into that conversation, Bill, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, thanks, Enrique. It's great being here. And really, you did a great job introducing me. I think most people know me or recognize me as a television director, and that's really my background. I worked for 12 years for the ABC regional network and directed live TV. From there, I left and did independent production, working with celebrities, bands. I mean, you name it, the Gwen Stefani, Black Eyed Peas, President Clinton. I just did a lot of large scale production work. And on the outside, you'd say, "Wow, Bill's just really done this fabulous job, and he's crazy successful." But I'd married my high school sweetheart, and I mimicked all the things that I think you're supposed to do for success, like go out, have a great career, make a lot of money, send the money home, let your family live in a nice home, send your kids to private schools, do all those special things, take them to special places. But the thing that I learned is no matter what I did to try to be successful or mimic what success had been modeled to me, was that success is nothing without being present. It's nothing without having genuine relationship with the people you're called to love in your life. And I realized I needed to make a change. And I came across a documentary project. And a friend said, "Look, if you produce this, it's going to be great. It'll be lucrative. It'll be a passion project, but you probably be able to spend more time with your family." And, oh my gosh, that would be great. So I poured myself into the documentary. It went very, very well. And best of all, we got a distributor. And a company in Nashville said, "Just fly here and we'll write you a check. We'll sign the contracts, and we're on our way to the beginning of a great relationship." So January 28th, 1999, I got on a plane with my best friend, Timothy, and knowing full well that that day in my life was going to change forever. Really knowing that because, man, it's going to be better from here on out. But it changed in a way I didn't quite expect because about 20 minutes into the flight, I started to feel ill, and I got so bad I turned to Timothy and I said, "Something's not right." And right there, my eyes rolled back in my head and my body flopped limp and my heart stopped. Now, to keep the story somewhat short, I'll just say this, and I write about it in my book, and that's why I wrote the 7 disciplines. It's not only about the life-changing experience I had, but how it applies to business, is that I learned that um, our life is so precious. And today I have a pacemaker because of the situation I had. 6 times a day it goes off. It reminds me every day with every breath I take, every time I go to bed, knowing that this might be the last time. Every morning I get up knowing it's the beginning of a new day. And that changes you. I actually wish everybody could die and then come back because it would change the way you live. But probably the most profound thing that happened to me is I had an encounter with God. And that changed me. It changed my value system. It reminded me of the things that are truly valuable and not just, let's go be successful. Let's be impactful. Let's not just try to make a living. Let's try to make a legacy. And to know that every breath you take is a precious gift. And in business, we have the privilege of interacting with our team, our employees, our people, our clients, all these things. And we can use it to make money, or you can use it to make a profound impact in the world. And that's really what I want to encourage people to do. It's about smart marketing. It's about deliberate marketing. It's about purposeful marketing, but it's about really living a meaningful and purposeful life so that this stuff that we do really has a profound impact, a lasting impact.
Now, very profound and impactful story there. I have heard that before, Bill, because I've been following you for quite some time now. So I've been privy to that story. And every time you tell it, I get goosebumps. It's just because I am of the same thought that every minute and every moment should be lived out, but consciously, right? Where you are understanding that this is but a fleeting time that we have. One breath to another is never actually promised, right? So
Right.
I love that you share that. You share that so freely, and I agree, right? There are many that I wish would have that experience, not just for the sake of what it is, because it is traumatic and painful, but for the life change that it will bring, because I know it will. Now, we're going to be talking about changes in the way people market themselves, and we're going to be sharing some tips and things of that nature. But I just echo what you said. It all is for nothing unless you know learn how to live these in a way where you build relationships versus accounts, right? Build relationship versus any other things that we will be talking about. But I wanted to ask you right off the bat, as we're talking about strategy and marketing processes, how can we strategically integrate discipline? Because I love that you focus on that word.
Mhm.
Being a military man, discipline is very valuable to me, has been and will be. But how can we integrate discipline into our marketing processes to enhance sales performance?
Well, I think the first fundamental key to applying discipline is actually knowing that discipline really is about guidance and guiding to an outcome. And that's one of the things I teach in the book is the fact chapter one of the most important disciplines really is the discipline of understanding why you're doing what you're doing and honoring that. Now, I really encourage that for a person, whether you're an individual or you're leading an organization, to not just talk about doing the right things, but defining them in a way that is abundantly clear. And I encourage people to actually draft what I call a mission manifesto. Now, without going into great detail, I will say this that the five fundamentals of a mission manifesto are this. Number one, purpose. Why are we doing this? And I would say in marketing, in your business, in your life, you need to approach every one of those aspects asking why. Why are we doing this? What is the purpose behind it? And what that does is it leads to the next thing. And again, you being a military man, you understand that once you understand what your purpose is, why you're doing this, you now establish a series of missions. Now, in business, for some reason, we get this notion that you just need one mission. But we understand in military and in life, once we understand the why, we usually have to implement multiple missions. In fact, having a profound after death experience, it certainly I like to say that if you weren't a little spiritual before you die, you get a little spiritual after you die, because you encounter things that open your world and make you question and maybe you look a little closer. And one of the things I did is I looked at great leaders. And of course, growing up a Catholic as a kid, I one of my leaders was Jesus. And when you break down his work, you see 26 missions. 26 missions. It really does look like a military campaign that is not limited by one thing that you throw in the employee handbook. It's actionable and it's measurable. And so once you've decided that why, the discipline to say, how do we do this? And what do we have to do? That's the missions. But then you come down to the next element of the mission manifesto, the third element, and that's goals. Now, most people have goals. We say, oh, I'm going to I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to make more money. I'm going to make more calls. Da, da. Those aren't bad. But I'll tell you where they fail. They fail because they're not attached to missions that are aligned with purposes. So we have a lot of, gee, it would be nice if, and gee, we ought to, and someday we shoulds. But if they're not driven by a heart driven, passion driven purpose to why we're doing it and the mission we need to accomplish, A goal falls into the category of someday I will, and it's easy to slide down. But if it's a mission and you understand the role that mission will play in fulfilling your purpose, guess what? That instills the passion and the power to be more disciplined to execute it and to execute it with a timeline, with a clarity, and with accountability, which goes to the next element, and that's vision. Great leaders have vision. They have vision. Now, when you talk about discipline, one of the areas that we all have to be disciplined is the discipline to not be distracted to pursue something outside of our purpose and our missions. I will tell you, for those of us on social media, and we are, you know, every day there's a post telling you, oh, you need to do this, and oh, you need to do this, and oh, you need to do that. And some of that's valuable and helpful and validating, but a lot of it, quite frankly, is distraction. When I talk to people about vision, what I encourage people to do is think about when you were a kid and you're putting together a puzzle. And you think, what's the first thing you do when you put together a puzzle? You look at the puzzle box. You look at the cover. You get clarity about what it is that I'm building. And that aligns with your purpose. And when you see that picture in front of you, even though you don't have the pieces, it gives you the discipline to align those pieces that belong in your puzzle. And maybe more important, to reject those pieces that don't belong in your puzzle. That takes discipline, that takes clarity, and that takes vision. And it's in that process, then you start fulfilling and seeing that picture of what your purpose fulfilled looks like. And of course, the last element and I don't mean to undermine it like it's just the last thing, because it's critical. It's understanding your values. And let me tell you, the discipline to live your values every day is a battle. You don't just go, oh, I'm living my values. It's like a storm that you lean into. You posture yourself knowing that we live in a world that wants to compromise your values, wants to steal your dream, wants to impose their vision on you. And when your values are to live according to that calling, live according to that purpose, to live according to that mission, that takes discipline, and it takes the passion to say, I'm not going to quit. I'm not going to be distracted, and I'm not going to compromise. And when you put those five things together as a mission manifesto for a project, for business, for your life, you now have created the framework for you to walk in discipline and purpose. And I will tell you, powerful influence. And I see this among the greatest leaders of all time.
That is indeed a great structure. I love the manifesto and each and every one of those parts, because as you were going through, I was like, yes, that's exactly how we look at it from a tactical strategic point. And yes, you look at the cover, you got to get the overall picture there, or else you'll be stabbing in the wind. So thank you for sharing those very, very pointed and profound points there. Now, one of those manifesto points was goals. And I love that you bring that up, because I wanted to ask, what are the key metrics and KPIs that leaders should focus on to measure the effectiveness of a disciplined marketing effort?
Well, the KPIs and really the things, the metrics or the goals, really tie not only to two things. It's an alignment. Goals related to your purpose, your strategic goals that you must do, and those are unique to your organization. But the other goals that really apply most critically to the metric of your audience and to marketing is to understand that you do have an audience you need to serve. And after you've gone through the discipline of understanding your market, now we call them, ideal client profile. I actually talk about the profound impact market. Who are those people that you can have a profound impact? It still means you need to understand their wants, their needs, their fears, their frustrations, their objections, and you need to understand their journey and their influencers that help them on that journey. So when you start looking at KPIs on them from a marketing standpoint, you have to think about it as the trail from awareness to actually buying and engaging with you. Now, that process might be awareness to learning, learning to understanding, understanding to buy in. But As you evaluate that audience and say, what do they need? How can I serve them? Where do I need to be? Where do I need to show up? That's where you start measuring. That's where your KPIs come in, because you have to ask the question in the front end, are they even aware of me? So there's an awareness component. Now, warning, many businesses who don't understand the complexity of the buying journey and the ways that we want to serve people along that journey just focus on awareness. And it kind of falls flat because awareness might get you noticed, but awareness does not really bring a sense of understanding and value. And that's why you have to say, have we created an environment where they can learn, where they can understand, where they can distinguish who we are versus the competition. And then from there to create a sense of buy in. And even once a client buys in, depending upon the complexity of your sale, look, if you're selling Snicker bars at the grocery store, it's not a complex sale. What is it? A dollar, probably now $5 to buy a Snickers bar, but it's not too complex. If you're selling a $500,000 product or $1 million product or somewhere that I would call it in the higher ticket item, the buying process is going to be longer. So you have to think about fueling that path with the resources necessary to help facilitate that journey, keep them engaged, keep them informed, but most important, serve them, serve their needs and their process. And once you understand that, that's where the KPIs come in. And you start measuring, have I done that? Have I done that? And look, Enrique, there's 1,000 tactics out there. Everybody's selling the next greatest tactic. And of course, the challenge is most people want it to be fast and lucrative. When the truth is that some of the most meaningful, powerful engagements are not fast. They build slowly, like a real relationship. And they're not just going to be, you know, transactional. Ultimately, and here's where I like to measure my ultimate KPI, is not only how many people have gone down that journey successfully, I've been able to serve them, but how many of those people are transformed not just into clients, but true ambassadors. In other words, they come back frequently, and they become an ambassador because you think about, we talk about viral marketing and things like that. There is nothing more powerful than word of mouth. Nothing more powerful throughout history. The word of mouth, because number one, the word being the message is important, but the mouth being the messenger. When you put the right message with the right mouth, you've multiplied that into a powerful marketing force that is greater than anything out there in the commercial world. So if you can facilitate people along that way and then blow them away with your service, ultimately when they work with you, the response should be wow. Anything less than wow, that's a KPI you need to go back and reevaluate. Because once you've transformed them into raving ambassadors, now you don't just have a marketing plan, you have a marketing machine.
Very powerful. And yeah, I have seen the wow. I've been part of the wow, have seen the wow, and have witnessed what that does. And yes, it just it's like an explosion when it's the right message in the right mouth. You know, uh, I'm usually not easily like flabbergasted, but there are just some orators that are just like, whoa,
Yeah.
where did that come from? My goodness, and so those messages are very important. I love that you mentioned awareness because I'm one that always talks about awareness not being the only thing you should be looking for. It should be the start because you have to execute that awareness or the things that you are becoming aware of. So, in what ways can we ensure consistent execution of discipline marketing strategies across all channels and teams?
Well, the first thing is again going back to that mission manifesto. In a world of distractions, and especially in a world of marketing tactics, thousands of marketing tactics, everything you do should always come back and be measured against the purpose. Why are we doing this? And what does this align with the missions we've determined we need to accomplish to fulfill that purpose? You always come back. That's how you hold everybody accountable. Even when someone has a good idea, you say, hey, okay, does that fulfill that? Or is that a key prerequisite to a key activity? Always look at it, measure it against the outcome, measure against the outcome. Because guess what? That's what your clients are doing. That's what your prospective clients are doing. Every client that comes to you is coming to you because they believe you can deliver an outcome. They believe you can deliver a transformation that they cannot experience somewhere else. That's it. It's pretty simple. Can you deliver the outcome and the transformation they want? And as long as our teams remember that marketing starts by being able to communicate in the manner that that client needs to connect and to communicate and to understand what that buying journey is, but ultimately it's blowing them away with that outcome. And so whoever's involved with, for example, like in our case, uh, we have a production team, and our production team is always out there. They're working on various projects. We're producing brand videos, we're producing sales conferences and events, or we're doing, um, like right now, we're doing focus groups and helping people with some marketing strategy things. Everybody on the team understands that their goal is to deliver two things: the thing on the invoice at a wow level and peace of mind. Again, I want to say it again. What's on the invoice and peace of mind? Because if you just deliver what's on the invoice without peace of mind, you failed. Anybody, I mean, almost anybody can do that. But you deliver exceptional experience, exceptional value, the wow. With peace of mind, get out of the way. Things will continue to flow and they will snowball. And your team, again, talk about a marketing machine, isn't just a production machine. They aren't just a service machine. They are literally I would consider them a blessing machine, because people walk away. And I've had clients regularly, for the right reasons, get tears in their eyes because the pressure's on them to deliver. The pressure's on them. Either it's through their clients, they're doing a big show, they've got a new boss, a new president have come in, there's an investor conference, and the pressure's on them. They don't tell you how much pressure's on them. But when you deliver at a high level and the tears flow, you know you're hitting the mark.
And I love that. A leader that could do that, or a team that could do that, leave that wow factor, is the one that gets remembered. And that's just in a peace of mind, it's really that hook. If I know that you're producing great stuff, but I don't have to ever worry about it, you're it. You're it, and that's it, and that's where I'm going to. And so I really agree with that approach. Now, speaking about accountability, as you have mentioned there, leaders have a key role in creating some type of culture around accountability and adherence. So, what are some ways that leaders can do that?
Well, the first word is the first way is to get past the difficult word of accountability. As employers and bosses and things like that, and we always talk about accountability is really good. You know what? But when you're the one that's being held to account, sometimes it feels awkward. In fact, I have I wrote it down because I wanted to share it with you. It's something I keep actually above my desk. It says accountability can feel like an attack when you're not ready to acknowledge how our lack of discipline may harm others. And so there's accountability in terms of we can put dashboards, and I'm a big believer in dashboards related to all business structures, related to all business and marketing metrics. We need to know where we are, where we're going, how we're doing. That's really important. So that's kind of first and foremost, at least have that target. But then there's something that you talk about, the culture of a business, that isn't just about performing, but it's about caring. And when I recognize, and when my team recognizes that we're not being accountable because we just got to kind of pull our weight, it's not the pressure to perform, it is the call to make a difference. It's the call to serve. It's the call to be the kind of person you can count on. That when uh, you have a crazy deadline and we need to say it's an all hands on deck moment, that we don't come in reluctantly going, "Oh my gosh, I gotta do this and gotta do Jim's job," or whatever. No, we come and saying, "We're here, we're a team, and I care about you, and I care about the outcome, and I care about the client." I honestly tell my clients I love them. I literally love my team. I love my clients. I communicate that to them regularly, verbally, and I pray that I communicate it through my actions. So really, when you talk about accountability, it is about saying, I love you. I respect you. I am here to honor you. And I'm here to honor the vision that we have shared together to do something profound for this world, for this company, and for our clients. And to me, that's the best way to really elevate accountability.
Absolutely. It's amazing all the things that leaders can do, but those that you just shared are on point, and all leaders should be adhering to that. But as we get into the execution of our marketing practices and starting to do with sales, nowadays automation is a big thing, and everybody's trying to automate, trying to streamline things. So what innovative approaches or technologies have you seen to help the bridge the gap between discipline marketing and the impact on sales?
Well, I'd say that really moving forward, we have to take a deep breath and step into not just the tools and technology, but going back to that why. And we know that in marketing, it's about relationship. And let me just say this, relationships are hard. They just are. They're a lot of work. And in a world where we want to be faster, we want to be more profitable, we want to be more efficient, I think we walk a very dangerous fine line of trying to turn um, relationships, which are the heart of great marketing and the heart of great businesses, into uh, automated transactions. And maybe I could pull the wool over somebody's eyes by writing something really well and sounding really human and doing all that stuff. Um, and I'd probably make a few bucks doing it. There's no question that you could do that. Um, for us, we're really cautious with that. And we feel like everybody in our organization owns the relationship. And that relationship at our heart is for us to be genuine and real. And to the degree that we're not genuine and real, I think we compromise the very integrity of why we're here. It's that difference between making a buck and making a difference. Now, having said that, and I don't mean to say, so we're throwing out technology and we're just going to send people boxes of chocolates. No, it's not not quite how it works. Because not everybody wants you to show up with a box of chocolates. Again, it goes using the tools and the automation to honor the needs and the wants and the process of the buyer, our client. And if our client would like to have a chat box to get some quick answers, give them the chat box. If that's what they want. If they want a real person, give them a real person. If they want, for example, just before I came into this meeting, I get a text from a client says, "Hey, could we just do a check-in?" Now, it doesn't mean we don't have other check-ins, and our production schedule is, I don't want to say it's rigid, but it's very, very structured to do the work that we do. It's complex. It takes time. We got to make a lot of connections. Boom, boom, boom. We do that. But the client calls and says, "Hey, could we just do a check-in? I just want to talk to you. I want to kind of get your ideas. I want to bounce some things off." There's one technology that will do that better than anything, and that's the technology that's found in the human voice and the human heart and the human relationship. So, will I use tools like AI to help spur ideas, spark imagination, leverage different methodologies? Of course. It would be wrong of us not to recognize that there's opportunity there. But we should always measure everything we do against having a true human impact. And I think that's the integrity of a business that is called to have relationships and not just transactions.
Yeah, you mentioned peace of mind early on, right? There's nothing like the human interaction to get you there sooner. I fully agree that yeah, innovation, technology, tools, all of that has its place. But when you're talking about the human experience, that can't be replaced. And people will try, but I'm telling you, it's there's something about having fear and having someone come up to you, look at you in the face, put their hand on your shoulder, all things go away because you start to get peace of mind. It's one thing that computers won't be able to do, and I'll stick by that one. Great. I love that you said that because there are a lot of people that are putting a lot behind the technology and are forgetting that there's still a component that I believe trumps it all, and that's the human experience. So, Bill, great conversation, great tips, and all that you have shared. But I know that you have stuff coming up. So, what do you have coming up, and how can the listener or the viewer get a hold of you if they want more information about your services, products, or even your book?
Well, I really appreciate that. One of the things that's very exciting is that since writing my book, The Seven Disciplines of Relationship Marketing, which is available on Amazon and Kindle, and it's easy to find there, or you can go to our the website, which is 7drm.com, where you can get all that. We are now making available a masterclass because all the things that I talked about in the seven disciplines, from create a mission manifesto to really understanding who your market is, doing what we call the 10-step human address, and really knowing who that market is, who that profound impact market is, and then taking what I've learned from messaging and marketing over 30 years and working in the entertainment industry and saying, how can we really build that into a profound, lasting legacy? We've made available a video workshop, a masterclass. It's also available at 7drm.com. And I would, for your listeners, I would be willing even to do a promo code to make that 50% off if that would be valuable to your audience. And the next thing after that, I'm actually going into the second book. And so maybe I could come back and we could talk more about that, but I'll just give you a hint. And it's something that I've seen. It's you and I have talked about it. This idea of relationship and this idea of integrity. And one of the things that I've learned after so many years working in the business world is that a lot of people embrace the idea, yeah, relationships important, but one of the relationships that they haven't had an honest relationship is with themselves. And that's why I want to write the book, and it's in process, called Discover Your Brand Soul. It is the call for all of us to not just mimic what the world tells us we should do, mimic the success systems the world says we should be measured by, but rather to really look into our heart, into our soul, and say, why are you here? What's the difference that you make? And what is the unique legacy that you can live? Not just be measured by success because you look like something else. I want you to look like you. I want you to look like the best version of you. And I know that when you do that, you'll make a profound impact. But maybe more important, you will have the most fulfilling experience because you'll stop chasing the shadows of other people's dreams and start living for your own. And that's something I'm really excited to share. And that should be coming out later this year.
Well, amen to that. I'm looking forward to that. And yes, once that is released, we'll definitely have you back so we can have a chat about that. I love the title. I love the whole thought behind that book. I'm on that chapter right now in my life, right? Making sure that my soul, my spirit, and my heart are all in the proper place at the proper time so that I can make the most of this life that I've been given. Bill, thank you so much for all that you have shared. Folks, we will have all the links on the show notes attached to the video as well, so you can get a hold of not only Bill, his the things that he does, but also the books and all the things that are coming up. I want to remind everybody that today's episode is sponsored by Fantail Services and Superpass, which are powering our website and app, Southern Sweet and Sassy Coffee, the Outlier Project, and Duco. If you've enjoyed this episode and learned something interesting about the topic covered today, make sure to subscribe and let us know by leaving a comment. And we're always looking for new ideas and guests that we can add to the show. So if you know someone or have a topic that you would like featured on the podcast or want to sponsor our show, we love to hear about it by emailing us at triadleadershipsolutions@gmail.com. And this podcast is brought to you by StreamYard, a browser-based tool that lets you live stream to any platform and record podcasts in studio quality. And we are using it to record this podcast. Be sure to tune in next week for another episode where we dissect leadership from another angle. And as we like to end the show, success to you.